table topic segment. For those of you who do not know what the table topic segment is, this is the opportunity for our members and also our guests to practice their public speaking skills. It is a time when our awesome table topic master, Alia Ataya, will actually ask some questions and enable our volunteers to present a 1 to 2 minute impromptu speech as means of practicing our public speaking skills together. Now, Cairo Toastmasters Club has decided to mandate opening up the cameras. Public speaking is not just about our verbal communication, which is the words coming out of our mouth, but it's also very much about our nonverbal communication, which is everything else, including our posture, our facial expressions, hand gestures, voice projection, you name it. In fact, our nonverbal communication entails 90% of our communication skills. So please turn your cameras on so we can make the most of our public speaking experience tonight, especially if you are deciding to partake in the table topic segment. We would love to have you turn your camera on so we can better connect with you on a personal level, and so you could enable yourself to practice both your verbal and nonverbal cues. With that said, welcome again, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us from different parts of Egypt as well as all over the world. We hope you have a great time with us tonight. And I will now hand the mic over to our awesome Toastmaster of the day, Ahmed Ali. The mic is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dina. And you left me nothing to say or to introduce. You introduced, but I will continue anyway. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, it's a pleasure to be here tonight at a typical yet awesome Cairo Toastmasters Club meeting. As a Toastmaster of the day, I will simply host you tonight through the entire meeting. And for the benefit of the guests, I would like to explain the structure of our meetings. Usually our meetings is divided into 3 segments. The first is the prepared speeches, where members will be delivering speeches based on their projects and pathways that they are in. The second is the table topic segment, where anyone can practice thinking and speaking on their feet. Guests are more than welcome to participate in this segment. And the third segment is the evaluation segment, in which all the prepared speeches as well as other aspects of the meeting will be evaluated by the general evaluator and her team. But as you know, tonight is very special, as we have a very special guest among us, Toastmasters Public Speaking Championship, Muhammad Qahtani. And he will have a specific segment to speak to us exclusively in Cairo Toastmasters. Tonight, we will also talk about something that as humans, something that I believe we are naturally born with, something that motivates us to help each other, be there for each other, feel each other. And that trait is compassion, which will be the C meeting. As Toastmaster of the day, it's my responsibility to introduce the tag team who will help us to have an organized, scheduled, fun meeting tonight. To keep track of time spent in each segment, please help me welcome the timer for today's meeting, Toastmaster Ashraf Yusuf. When he was asked what he think of compassion, he said, yes, compassion is the reason why human beings don't kill each other. Let's be thankful for that. Yes, let's be. Toastmaster Ashraf, please explain your rule.
Thank you, Amada. My name is Ashraf Yusuf. Look at what Magid has done to me. Why have you done this, Magid? Huh? Why? Because we want you to glow, Okay. So, I am the timer for today's meeting. My job is to make sure that everyone is on time, and everyone. I record everyone's time. So a normal speech is from 5 to 7 minutes. So my background, hopefully when Magid figures out how to do that, will be green at 5 minutes, right?
It's according to the
Yes,
meeting, according
green,
to the speech.
green at 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, and what's it called? Red at 7 minutes. And I will also explain the later rules later on.
As for the toast, we have 30 topics of the day. See, this is when it turns green. This is when it turns yellow. This is when it turns red. You have 30 minutes to wrap up.
Yes, exactly. So anything else? No, that is it. Thank you so much. Back to the Toastmaster of the day.
Hey, thank you, Ashraf.
30 seconds, not
Did I
minutes.
say 30 minutes? Yeah, you have 30 minutes to wrap. 30 seconds, of course. You have 30 minutes to wrap up the 7 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Galal, for that. I agree with you, Ashraf, for what you thought of compassion. I think the moment we stop feeling compassion for people, bad things will happen. But the question is, how we have wars, or why we have wars if we have compassion? Maybe, I don't know. You can share that. You can share your thoughts in the comments. Moving on, to keep track of the ahs and ums during the meeting, we have the ah counter of the day. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Nurhan Azmi. She is the one of our newest members, and this is her first time to take this rule. So best of luck, Nurhan. Please explain your rule.
Thanks a lot, Ahmed. Good evening, everyone, Toastmaster members and guests. I am happy to share with you this meeting. I will be the ah counter. I will count the ahs, ms, and the filler words and sounds. In addition to the overused and repeated words and phrases by the speakers. At the end of the meeting, I will provide you with my count and the repeated words and phrases for each speaker and evaluator. Thanks again. Okay, the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you, Nurhan.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to our grammarian. To track the good and not so good usage of grammar, we have our grammarian of the day, Toastmaster Wala Osman. When I asked her about compassion, she almost didn't answer because I asked her very late, but she shared her thought in the last minute. She said, and I quote, "Compassion is my drive. It's a small action that makes a big difference. And just like Qahtani says, your words can take someone from the slums of life and make a better person out of him. Let's make our goal to change the world, one smile at a time." Toastmaster Wala, please explain your rule.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, and welcome everybody. It is an honor to be speaking in the presence of the person that just, oh wow, I'm speaking in Arabic now. So the person that just drew or like changed the way we view, Toastmasters, because he was the first, I think, Arab person to win this in 90 years. So that was very motivational and inspirational. Thank you for being with us tonight. My role today as the grammarian is to give you guys the word of the day. So it is, thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, for sharing it. It is altruism. Now, this word it means selfless actions. When you do something for others, even if it would hurt you. And I would say it in Arabic just once to make it clear for everyone. That is al-ithar in Arabic. So when you do something for others to help them and to when you're more concerned about the well-being of others. Yes. And we have the first example. It says the altruism of the firefighters showed through their disregard for their own lives when they saved a bunch of people from the fiery building. The other example is, which here we're using the adjective. When you want to describe a person, you say he's very altruistic. You say animals can have more altruistic behavior than humans. Now we're referring to behavior, so the adjective refers to. Okay, I need to stop that. So you can use altruism or altruistic to refer to al-ithar. That is related to the word of the day, which is the theme of the day, which is compassion. Again, with the role of the grammarian, I take note of any mistakes of grammar, or I also take note of any good usages of the language to just try to use the language in a good way. And I'll just give a shout out to you at the end. I'll meet you guys at the end with my report. Thank you all, and back to you, Mr. Ahmed.
Okay, thank you, Ala. I'm still sharing or not? No, I stopped sharing, yes. Thank you, Ala, for that. And with that said, we can safely start our first segment of the meeting, the prepared speeches. We have today 2 speakers and 2 evaluators. Our first speaker is Toastmaster Rada, who is at level 2, project 3, pathway effective coaching. Her evaluator is Toastmaster Hassan, who when he was asked about compassion, he said, compassion is the prerequisite of true human connection. If we look at the world's problems, we can trace them back to a lack of compassion. I agree with you. Toastmaster Hassan was a brief about Toastmaster Rada project.
Okay. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Ahmed. So today, Rada will give her speech in the pathway called Effective Coaching. It's her 3rd project in level 2, and the title is Out of the Blue. The purpose of this project is to talk about a time when she was a protege. So when she was a mentee, in other words. So with that said, good luck, Rada, and back to you, Toastmaster Ahmed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Hassan. I forgot to share the agenda, so I will put it in the chat. But first, I would like to welcome our first speaker, Toastmaster Rada. And when she asked about her thoughts about compassion, she said it's how to practice self-love so you can be gentle to yourself and others. Toastmaster Rada, out of the blue, Toastmaster Rada.
Hello, everybody. If it's out of the blue, I can have a role today. You see me well? Oh, excuse me. This is kind of out of the blue ideas that came to my mind one morning. My inner voice told me, Rada, I think you need to work on your presentation skills. I replied, really? Why? I didn't get along with that word during my life, at school, college, or even if at work. For personal side, do you think that the type of introvert personality, little bit shy, not talkative at all, can be interested to go into presentation skills and that issues? And for career path, I'm sure it will not make any progress. at my career. So maybe it's a kind of that idea that came to your mind before breakfast. So I decided to take a full breakfast and continue my lifestyle for a day, for a week, for a month. But suddenly, law of attraction decided to knock my door, tack, 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 and send me that person that I didn't met long time ago. Past the president of Cairo Toastmaster. We spoke a lot about many things. And by accident, he told me about Cairo Toastmasters and invited me to attend one meeting. For me, I said, why not to give a try? And there I get astonished. All the people stay there and take from time from their life in order to speak. After a couple of meetings, they told me, you know, you can be a member. And I started my membership. And they told me, after finish your 10 speeches, you will get certificate from Toastmasters International. And not only, but also you can address that certificate to your direct manager or to be sent to the CEO of your company. But I can swear that it cannot make any difference in my life. But I get inspired. So I start the first project, the second project, the third project, but I feel that I cannot move more. It's very hard. I'm moving a mountain. It's very hard task. Preparing a speech, selecting a topic, choose title, moving from idea to idea and rehearse. It's enough. I need to take a rest. And then, again, law of attraction knock the door of mine with the same person announcing workshop about public speaking. And there I have learned a lot about public speaking, how to stand, how to deliver a speech, how to use your voice, how to move from idea to idea, how to open your speech and close it. And on the last day, the instructor told us today, the last day, I need to deliver a speech from 1 to 2 minutes. Okay? See you after 15 minutes. I have the same uncomfortable feeling. It's not easy. I have a lot inside my head. So he told us, okay, today is the last day. Maybe you will not see each other again, but you can leave a message to the people around you to be remembered with. And it wasn't just a tip. It was a transformational process for my belief system. It changed my mind, it changed my lifestyle. And after that, I delivered project number 4 with energy, with passion. I looked into all the people inside the room to be sure that they got my message. And on this stage, I feel that now I'm that responsible person to choose a mentor. But what is the best mentor for me? How can I choose it? But the word mentor replied me. The letter M told me he will make you follow your own ideas, your own plan, your own goals. The letter E told me he will encourage you to go out of your comfort zone. The letter T told me, the letter N told me he will non-judgmental. And if he gave you feedback. And the letter T told me that he will be trusted, have a lot of experience and knowledge. And O told me he observes, he sees further to take you inside your journey very quickly. And R told me he is role model, lead by example. And after 10 years of being a member in Toastmasters, I have a big gratitude to all coaches and mentors Among them, all members of Cairo Toastmasters and the member of Toastmasters who inspire me by their speeches and taught me a lot and make that idea out of blue idea to fly in the blue sky. So please speak to inspire and to leave a message. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Okay, thank you, Rada. That was a profound speech. Moving on to moving on to our second speaker. As always, Rada, I have no words to say. Your journey is quite the journey. Moving on to our next speaker, our Toastmaster Galal, or as he would like to be called, Gilgil. And his evaluator, Toastmaster Amal, will give us a brief about Mr. Galal's speech objective. When she was asked about compassion, in the last minute, also she shared with me her thoughts. She said, what she said, yes. Compassion, feeling that someone is sharing and understanding your feelings, help you get through any hardship you may face in your life. Toastmaster Amal, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Good evening, everybody. Toastmasters and guests, welcome to Cairo Toastmasters Club. I am very happy to present Mr. Galal Zaki in his first speech. It's a speech in the Pathway Presentation Mastery. The title of his speech is Failure, the Road to Success. And I am sure that he has quite a story to share with us. I can't wait to hear him, Mr. Galal Zaki. Thank you. Over to you, Ahmed.
Okay, thank you, Amal. When he was asked about his thoughts about compassion, he said something that I didn't understand at first. He said, sorry for being late. It sounds great. I asked him in the last second, and he taught me that compassion could be in accepting others' apology and feeling my struggle. Toastmaster Galal, failure, the road to success. Failure, the road to success, Toastmaster Galal.
Thank you. Fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, a very good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to one and all. A very warm welcome to a person who inspired and taught many of us all over the world the power of words. Also for his altruism, giving up his valuable time to come to us today, Mohammed Qahtani. Am I audible? Right. As the saying goes, time past is contained in time present. We are here today because of what we've been through throughout our lives. Now, when we were at school, how many of us knew what we wanted to do in life, or that we would end up here today? Can you raise your hands if you did? Nobody. The same with me. I wouldn't be here today had it not been for my wife. And I'm writing a book called Story of My Wife because I owe her my life. My journey started over 60 years ago. I went to an English school run by the British, and all I was interested in was sports and girls, and not necessarily in that order. So I found out to attract a lot of girls, I had to be good at sports. I had most of the track and field records, and I'd win the race 100 meters, 200 meters, 400 meters, 800 meters, 1,500 meters. I won the long jump. I didn't break the record, and they told me I couldn't do it. I kept jumping until I broke the record, and I had a lot of girls screaming, and they were madly in love with me, and I was madly in love with them. I won the cross country, 5 kilometers. I won the tennis tournament, the squash tournament. I won the javelin, and I was head boy at the English school. I thought I was God's gift to earth. But I also discovered to attract more girls, I had to tell jokes. And I won Egypt's championship in the 100 meters, 200. We could go into any university. I went into the Faculty of Science doing geochemistry. Before the university opened, we had a long holiday. And I started telling jokes and putting on a British accent. So they told me, Galal, come and work at the radio. Started telling more jokes to attract more girls. And they said, Galal, come and work at the Gazette. And they got me a trainer from America, Bill Hike. And he would put me in the gymnasium and get me to carry weights. And he would tie a rope around my waist and get me to drag a tire around the track. And he'd tell me, you can always do one more. He used to kill me. He didn't have any compassion for me. Anyway, I got into the university and spent 4 years in geochemistry, and I reached second year. Between the radio, the Gazette, Bill Hike, and flirting, I reached second year. So I told my parents, I don't want to do this. I'll go to another university. I went and did economics, political science, and I reached senior year, 4 years. In the second year, a bombshell came into the university. All the boys and teachers were running after her. And at the time, we didn't have social media. And the 3 fastest ways of spreading news were telephone, telegram, and telegirl. So I went to her best friend. I said, I'm madly in love with your friend, but please don't tell her. And that's the way I got introduced to Fadia Dajani, who later became my wife, and we became boyfriend and girlfriend. Well, between the radio, the Gazette, Bill Hike, and Fadia, I had over 9 absences on all my courses, and I received a letter telling me that I was no longer at the university. That's 8 years. Well, I had to do my military service. I went into the Air Force as a soldier in a dental clinic as a dental assistant, and I was getting 6 Egyptian pounds per month. And Fadia married me against her father's will. And he disowned her because she married somebody who didn't have a university degree. So she got me to go into the Faculty of Arts doing English literature. Another 4 years. In the last year, I wrote a play on Shakespeare. And we had a visiting professor from America, from the University of North Dakota. He said, Galal, come and teach at university and do your PhD. So I went to America and I got highest honors and I did a master's degree in English literature. I was going to continue for a PhD, but my mother passed away and I had to come back to Egypt. And somebody called Tariq Noor knew that I was telling jokes and he was starting his agency, so he hired me in advertising, and the rest is history. I won many awards in advertising. I used to come out in a commercial where all the women above 60 are madly in love with me. So I did pencils I actually met Galal Zaki and I give them all around. I became professor of practice at one of the best universities in Egypt. And I won a Lifetime Achievement Award from the International Advertising Association. And in my acceptance speech, I thanked my mother and I thanked Tariq Noor. And my last words were, Fadia, I am because of you. Story of my wife. Thank you. Back to you.
Wow, Mr. Galal. I think I can speak for all. We all learned from you and we all laughed at your speech. I can tell that because Amal was laughing out loud. Amal was moving her shoulder out of laugh. So thank you.
I forgot to say that I'm now getting $500 and I'm ready to accept riyals, $500 per hour, not 6 Egyptian pounds per month. And I'm ready to accept riyals from Mohammed Qahtani.
Wow. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Galal. But all of you get too excited because you need to save your energy. I am audible. Zoom said that my internet connection is unstable. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. So as I was saying, don't get too excited. You need to save your energy for the segment. To provide us with challenges for today's table topic segment, we have the table topic master, Toastmaster Alia Ataya. When she was asked about compassion, she was short and clear. She said, compassion is part of what makes us truly human. And I think a true human, my friend. Toastmaster Alia, the mic is yours.
Toastmaster of the day, can we just, before people forget, can we make the poll, the voting for the speakers?
I remembered and I wrote a note, but Mr. Galal's speech, oh my God, I forgot about the voting. So sorry for that. And thank you, Mr. Magid, for reminding me. Can you please start the voting for speech?
Yes, of course. So everyone now, you will have a pop-up window that will give you a poll, which speaker would you vote for? And by the end of the meeting, we're going to announce the results. You have 1 minute. We have 48 participants. So we're expecting in this 1 minute, we will have above 45 people voting for our speakers. Now the poll is launched. Can you all hear? Can you all see it? Come on, guys, 35. Yalla, we have 10 people more. We need 13 actually, 13 people less that are not voting. Come on, guys. Who's not voting yet? Okay. So the poll will be over in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We just got 79% of votes. Thank you for that. And back to you again, Mr. Toastmaster of the day.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Magid. Alia, where are you?
I'm here.
Okay. I introduced you before the voting, so I would happily introduce you again, but because of the time.
No need, Ahmed.
Okay, the mic is yours.
Thank you, our Toastmaster of the day, and a very good evening to you all. This is Alia, your table topic master, and as you already know, this segment is going to involve both guests and members who wish to contribute in delivering a 1 to 2 minute impromptu speech. You're going to see the green color when you reach the minimum time, which is 1 minute, over here from Ashraf's screen. When you're midway through, you're going to see the yellow color. And when you reach the maximum time, you're going to see the red color, and you only have 30 seconds to wrap up. A quick call to action for you all. Grab a paper and a pen. Now, 5 seconds. I'll count till 5 seconds. 1, paper and pen. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, great. We're going to do a mini quiz together before we delve into the segment. Are we ready? Okay, great. I'll need your thumbs up to check the audio as well. When I come to share. Okay, can you guys hear this? Yes?
Yep.
You heard? Perfect. Okay, let's continue. excited. Wait. Okay, so now I think we all have an idea. Don't, Rita, don't. Okay, so basically now we have an idea of whether we are right or left brain dominant. Some say it's a myth, but I believe in it, so I don't really care if it's a myth or not. So what we're going to do next is I'm going to be displaying words related to our theme, which is compassion. You are going to see over here those words, which are basically synonyms and antonyms related to compassion. And yes, 1, 2, 3. Oops, it's gone because you shouldn't be keeping track of it. 1 to 2 minutes, you'll be given a word, and this is going to be the main theme of your speech. Clear? Yes. Awesome. Our first volunteer in the chat box is going to be Hassan. We're all going to listen very carefully to Hassan. Based on his content and delivery, we're going to try to guess if this young man is left or right brain dominant. Is he left, like more logical, analytical, mathematical, or more right brain as in more creative, imaginative, intuitive? See, I'm dancing now. Okay, Hassan, what's your number? Give me a number from 1 to 12. Quickly.
3.
I meant Hassan. Sorry, Hassan. Okay, there are 2 Hassans. I should have specified. Okay, the other Hassan, I'll give you a chance as well. Hassan Dia, our member. Let's start off with our member. 1 to 12.
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Ali, when you first.
Give me a number from 1 to 12.
I didn't call you. I wasn't. Any number? 8.
Okay, 8. So your word is mercilessness. Mercilessness.
So do I give any speech about that word?
Yes, this is your topic. 1 to 2 minutes is yours. This is the theme of your speech. It could be a story, something personal, out of the box, whatever, it's yours. Over to you, Hassan.
Mercilessness. What a word. Mercilessness is part of life because life has many challenges. Imagine if there were no challenges in life. Imagine if life was so merciful. Everything was all right. Everything was so rosy and okay. Wouldn't it be boring? Would it be interesting? I think some mercilessness is essential for the balance of nature. If there are no challenges, life would be so boring and you wouldn't think about the future. You wouldn't have any dreams. You wouldn't have any aspirations because everything is okay. So why dream about anything? Why have plans? Why do anything? If everything is okay. If life is so merciful, I would just sleep and do nothing. So mercilessness is a very essential part of life, even though we might not always like it. But we can't live without it. It is important. It's essential. Back to you, Toastmaster Alia.
Thank you, Hassan. Everyone in the chat box, do you think he's left or right brain dominant? Left, right, B. Hassan, what was your result?
I was 50-50. I couldn't really tell which one I am. So I can't tell.
Interesting, Hassan.
Yeah, but I would say, I'm more logical a little bit.
Okay. Mr. Left Brain, thank you so much. Our next volunteer, Rita. Do we have Rita?
Yes, I'm here.
But I can't see you.
I'm here.
Oh,
I'm
Rita.
here.
So
Can't you
your
hear me?
number from 1 to 12, dear.
7.
7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Your word is empathy.
Empathy. Interesting.
Empathy. Over to you, Rita, and we're all ears.
Empathy is a real part of life. We can't live without empathy. We have to empathize with each other in order to live. It's the main option of being a human being. Without empathy, we can't be human beings. We can't differ. Empathy is what makes us different. It's what makes us special. It's what makes us human beings because we can empathize with each other. We can feel each other's pain. Without empathy, we'll just be like solids. We'll be objects. We won't have feelings. We can't express. Empathy is what makes us human beings. Thank you.
Empathy is what makes us human beings. Do you sense the left or right brain guys there? Who says what? Someone says right. Left, right, right. Rita, you were left, right? You were left.
No, I was right.
You were right. Awesome. Empathy, the queen of emotions. Thank you, Rita. Hassan, Arafat, I did not forget you at all. Are you here? Are you here? This time I'm calling you, not the other Hassan. Okay, I'll get back to you later if you didn't disappear. All right. Next volunteer, Shobit from India. Namaste.
Thank you so much.
What's your number, Shobit? 1 to 12.
I'll go for 12.
12. Yours is ill will. Ill will. Over to you, Shobit.
Wonderful, wonderful meeting so far. We have been in this meeting and we have experienced so many great speeches and not even a single hint of ill will amongst all of us. Every one of us have gathered here today to bring out something positive, to bring out the most, not only in ourselves, but in all of us. The two speeches that I've heard were so inspiring. The table topic so far, I loved it. And it brings me to the fact that right now, I have no remorse of why I am still awake at 11:20. Usually, I am scrolling on YouTube or going through my chats, and my time is going through the garbage. Like I'm not doing anything productive. And that is ill will towards myself, towards my existence, towards my future, basically. We need to be very, very considerate with our time, ladies and gentlemen. And then even though we look forward to do altruistic deeds to other individuals, but we also have to go inside and look at ourselves like how we would treat others. For example, imagine your best friend. How lovely that best friend is, how far you can go for that best friend. But can you do the same for yourself? Would you do the same deeds, same efforts in making that best friend? Would you do the same efforts or would you do the same? Okay, I am glitching right now, but my point right now is we all have to treat ourselves how we would treat others. We would go and clean our own home. We would treat our own selves like the room. You make sure that everything is in place and everything is balanced. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Back to you, Alia.
Thank you so much, Shobit. A small reminder to our wonderful audience is not to use the chat box while the speaker is speaking. But other than that, Shobit, left, right, left, right, right, left. Like, I'm confused, actually. What were you, Shobit?
I'm a right-brained.
Ah, nice. Awesome. Thanks for coming, Shobit. Greetings to India. Now, our next volunteer from the chat box, we have Marutesh. Marutesh? Marutesh is gone? I think so. All right. Next volunteer. Oh, no, she's. Marutesh, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Awesome. We can see you. You're audible. And your number is?
4.
4. Your word is hatred. Over to you, Marutesh.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, time is me. Every time we want to spend in a worthy manner, because once if we lose anything, if we
he's out.
Oh no, Marutesh. I'm sure you had a beautiful speech to say. When you're back, we'll be glad to have you. I think we'll move on to the next speaker. Mayar. From the chat box, I see Mayar.
Yeah. I'm here. That was so fast.
Mayar, your number, please.
Number 6.
6. Indifference.
Indifference?
Indifference. Carelessness, indifference. Over to you, Mayar.
Okay. Throughout my life, never thought that that I'm going to be responsible for kids or a husband. I always thought that I'm going to have the responsibility of my own self. I was indifference when it comes to caring about anyone, or even, as I told you, be responsible for anyone. Also, I never understood how can someone have an autistic behavior until I became a mom, and everything changed since then. My life, my kids, and my husband became the center of my life. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you, Mayar. Left or right? Left or right? Right or left?
What do you think?
Right?
Yeah, and it was surprising, by the way. I am right.
I became a mother, and it's full of love.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Can we have one more volunteer, Mr. Timer, or what? I'm having fun. Please, one more. Please. One more?
We have two more.
Ah, thank you. Okay.
Look how generous our timer is.
Okay, our next volunteer in the chat box is Hur. Hur from Alexandria. Welcome. Where are you, Hur?
I'm here.
Awesome. Your number is?
2.
2. Cruelty. Cruelty, Hur. Over to you.
Yes, cruelty of life. One of the essence. Hardship. Can't be compassion enough. Sadness. A cry for help. Actually, as one of the guests said earlier, you can't see the positive unless you see the negative. There is no actually black or white, except you only know the black. I'm not into the gray side. I'm either black or white. Hatred. What would be the opposite of that? Pure love? Asking for it? giving it to others, putting the hate on the table, putting the love on the table, asking others for the same, having empathy. Well, let's believe in it. Let's believe in passing the salt, passing the love, the essence of our love, the essence of our life. Giving back, thinking about what means the most, sharing, passing it forward, loving the moment and loving life, love. Thank you.
I bet that you're right brain dominant. Are you?
It was such a surprise finding me right today. I'm all logic.
You're
but
left?
today,
No, please don't make me believe this. No, you know that you're right brain dominant, right?
tell me, well, I worked on myself. I don't know. Something happened along the journey.
Thank you so much for coming, Hur. That was great. Okay, I see a lot of volunteers. The thing is, I'm going in the order that was sent to me to be as fair as possible. I'm so sad. I just have one more left. The last volunteer of the evening that was sent on the chat box in order was who? Mahitab. Mahitab, are you here?
Yes,
Mahitab's
hello.
here. Hello.
Yes, I'm here. Hello.
What's your number, dear?
Okay. I can choose number 5.
5. Humanity. Over to you.
Okay, so this is my first time here in the Toastmaster, and I'm about to speak about humanity. And I have nothing prepared really, but I just wanted to share my insights with you today. And also I'm excited that I got to know a new word that is altruism. This all new for me. And really, I'm really excited to meet everybody. So I just wanted to volunteer to have a meeting or the feeling of how to give a speech on the spot like that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahitab. Left or right brain? Are you left or right brain now? Because that was not clear to me at all, to be honest, dear.
I'm right.
Thank you. And now we come to the end of our segment. I really had so much fun. And if I could take the rest of the meeting, I would, like, without any doubt. But unfortunately, time is not in our hands. Thank you so much, everyone, for your contribution. And I'm handing it back over to our Toastmaster of the day, Ahmed. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Alia. We had fun, yes. You make this segment a lot fun than it's already are. So thank you. Before I forgot, I would call for the timer to see if every participant is legitimate for to be in the wall of the poll. So, Mr. Timer. Mr. Timer. He's sleeping. Okay.
Yes.
Did they all qualify?
They are. Everyone qualified except Shobit. He did not qualify, but everyone qualified.
Okay, so Mr. Zoom Master.
1 second.
Okay. So again, Alia, because I lost in the segment, being left means what and being right means what?
Okay, quickly, so I don't take much time. Basically left brain dominant, you're mainly more logical, more analytical, more mathematical. Right brain, you're more artistic, more intuitive, more imaginative, more emotional. So apparently, but I cannot guarantee this because I'm not sure, males are usually left brain dominant and females are usually right brain dominant. But again, don't take my words because they're not fully guaranteed. Over to you, Ahmed.
Okay, thank you, Alia, for this information. The
poll is it's launched. We have Hassan Dia, Rita Adil, Mayar Sayed, Hur Karusa, and Mahitab. Did I miss anyone? Our table topic master of the day. Alia, did I miss any one of the table topic speakers who qualified? Alia, okay. Go ahead. Did we? Is it all? Is it right? Okay. Come on, guys. We're 62%. We have 30 seconds left. Go, go, go. Five, four, three, two, one. We are at 72% there. Go ahead, Ahmed.
Okay, thank you, Magid. I bet you get charged through the last segment. It was a lot of excitement, but now the time of excitement. Now is the time for our special segment. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Dina Abu Saif. You were excited for someone else? Whenever our president is speaking, that's our special time in our Toastmaster, in Cairo Toastmaster. I'll altruistically give the mic to our president to conduct the next segment. When she was asked about compassion, she said, and I quote, of course, "Compassion is humanity's most powerful characteristic. Nothing demonstrates person's true colors like his or her embodiment of compassion." Toastmaster Dina, the mic is yours.
Thank you so very much, our Toastmaster of the day, Ahmed, for the wonderful introduction. All right, everyone, the time has come, the time you've been waiting for, that has made you stay up past midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, your time to listen to our great guest speaker tonight. Now, before I hand the mic over to him, I just want to briefly introduce him. Now, Muhammad Qahtani joined Toastmasters in 2009 with North Park Toastmasters Club and was able to win the World Championship of Public Speaking in 2015 in Las Vegas, Nevada, after beating 30,000 other competitors from all over the world. Mr. Qahtani suffered from stuttering as a child, but his perseverance and dedication led him to become the best speaker in the world with a speech titled The Power of Words. Please help me welcome the 2015 World Champion of Public Speaking, Mr. Muhammad Qahtani, who will be presenting a speech entitled Speak to Impress. I'm sorry, Speak to Inspire. The mic is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good evening to all of you Toastmasters in Cairo, in Egypt, and Saudi, and Kuwait, and India, and all over the world. Now, you sit in the audience chair watching a speaker. Usually you get a speaker that will make you go, but often sometimes you get a speaker who will make you sit at the edge of your seat. What is the difference? Content? Style? Now, I want to start with a disclaimer. Often sometimes you might hear someone might tell you, I'm going to teach you the secret recipe to become a good speaker. Secret recipe for an amazing and inspirational speech. There are no secret recipes. And those who will tell you that there is a secret recipe is lying to you. In fact, if you go back and you watch all the previous world champions, for example, and you will try to pinpoint something in common between all of them, you will not find one. I dare you. Go back and watch last year's champion or the one before that or the one before that and see what it's like, what's so common between them. You will not find one. So that means there is a lot of styles in a ways that you can
What happened? What's going on with our guest speaker? I think he's disconnected.
and when you see that ad, what do? You
Mr.
skip.
Qahtani,
Yes.
we lost 2 minutes of your speech.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Now we can.
All right, where did we stop?
That we cannot find one common thing between all speakers.
Great. Fantastic. All right. So, as I said, we cannot find a common thing between all the speakers or all the speeches. However, today I'm going to teach you, or I'm going to share with you, a style of writing and delivering a speech. You can use it, but remember, it's not a secret recipe. Step number 1. When you watch a YouTube clip, as soon as you open it, you will see an ad. And when you see an ad, what do? You're going to skip, most likely. But wait, you have to wait 5 seconds, and then you skip. Has there been an ad that you didn't skip? Most likely, yes. And if you go back and ask yourself why I didn't skip that ad, something happened in that 5 seconds that made you think, I want to see where this is going. And the same thing with speaking. Step number 1 is hook. If you didn't hook me from the first 5 seconds, I would never listen to anything that you're going to be speaking about. This technique you can also use even at work, even when you're doing technical presentations. I see a lot of speakers, they start their speeches by, hi, my name is so-and-so, and today I would like to thank you for being here, and today I will be speaking to you about such and such. This is what we are all used to. We've heard it so many times. So inside our minds, we already skip. So how can you hook me from the first 5 seconds? You can do it in 5 ways. The first one, which is not my favorite, especially within Toastmaster, is asking a question. Now, why I don't prefer it, even though, by the way, you can use it outside of Toastmasters, but within Toastmasters, I don't prefer it. And why? Because it's been overused a lot of times. People start their speeches, by a show of hands, how many of you have been in love? Yeah, me. By a show of hands, how many of you have failed? Yeah, we did. So it's been overused within Toastmasters. However, it's still a valid way that you can hook your audience from the first 5 seconds. The second way that you can do it is by what I call a shock. Now, a shock could be either a shocking piece of information or a shocking act on stage that will make the audience go, what the hell is going on? What is he going to do next? Third, you can start by a quote from someone else. That's also not a favorite thing of mine, because I do believe when you start by a quote, you are giving the impression that your speech might not be strong enough that you actually had to start by someone else's words. But again, you can still use it as well. Or you can start by a story. Now, if you're going to start by a story, please don't start by, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a story. No, just dive right into the story. Imagine if I began my speech by, she walked into the bedroom, and right there, she saw on the bed the body of her husband, but his head was on the floor. Now you're thinking, oh my God, what happened? I want to know what happened next. How did this happen? So now you're intrigued. Or you can begin by a high tone of voice, especially if you feel like your audience are not giving you the attention that you need. Maybe they're still speaking with each other, or maybe half of them are sleeping. Then maybe you can begin, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. See, I'm still smiling, but I began with a high tone of voice. This is step number one. Hook. Do something in the first 5 seconds that will get me engaged. Now, step number two, something that I like to call the frame. Now, what do we mean by frame? Imagine, my fellow audience, if I started by sharing a story. Ever since I was born, my grandmother, she took care of me. She raised me. An 8-year-old lady, she had like wrinkles on her hands. I still remember the warmth of her touch. Now, what do you think is going to happen at the end of my speech? Anybody? Raise your hand if you think that she's going to die. Now, why do you think that she's going to die? Because at the beginning of the speech, I talked about she's 80, wrinkles on her hands. So now you're thinking, yeah, it's one of those speeches. She dies, he cries, and blah, blah, blah. I've heard that before. What happened here is I gave up the plot of the story too early in my speech. So now you know what's going to happen. Yeah, she's going to die and he's going to talk about, spend time with your loved ones or like whatever. I've heard that message. What I mean by frame is after you hook me, don't tell me right away what you're going to be speaking about. For about 40 seconds to 1 minute, you can even extend it even more. Circle around your topic, but still don't tell me what it is, because that will get me more engaged. I want to see where this speech is going. Now, there's a risk of how long you can drag that on. I've seen people who've dragged it too long and their speech failed. However, if you notice the 2019 world champion of public speaking, Aaron Beverly, his speech was about a wedding in India. And he begins his speech, and all the way through your speech, it's a beautiful story, but you still don't know, or you're not sure what he's talking about, but he did it very beautifully. And at the end, his message came clear. So this is called the frame. Don't tell me right away what you're going to be speaking about. Circle around the topic so I can get more engaged. Step number 3, the message. Your message, I know, I was shocked too. Your message should be easy enough that it could be explained in 1 sentence. I repeat, your message should be simple enough that it could be explained in 1 sentence. If it takes more than 1 sentence to explain your message, then it's too complicated, or maybe you have 2 or 3 messages in your speech, which is something that you should never do. Have 1 message and have the audience focus on. Now, it's always better to move to, now we move into step number 4, is using a personal story. Please try as much as possible to avoid a story that the audience already know. Don't tell me something about Abraham Lincoln or Martin Luther King. Why? Because all these stories, I can read a book about it. The reason I'm listening to you is because I want to hear something that I've never heard before. And step number 5 is your story should go to something called the ah moment. Now, what do I mean by an ah moment? It's either one of 3 things. It's either ah, or ah, or oh. Now, what do I mean by the 3? The climax of your story, it's either you hit rock bottom, which is oh, or it's a beautiful moment, ah, or it's a twist in the story that nobody expected, oh. And that's why I call it the ah moment. Your story should have a build-up to a climax. The climax could be either a rock bottom moment, or a beautiful success moment, or a twist that nobody in the audience saw or nobody expected. Now, step number 6. My fellow audience, imagine if I'm talking in my speech and I'm discussing or I'm sharing a story of mine. And then half the way through the story, I said, and there I was. I still remember it clearly. I was standing in my living room, holding in my hand my termination letter from college. My scholarship has been terminated. I lost my future. Fast forward 20 years from then, now I own my own business. I'm a successful entrepreneur. Now I know what you're thinking. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. What just happened there? Just a moment ago, you were failing in college and now you're a successful business. How did this happen? How did you jump? Step number 6 is what I like to call the struggle. Let me ask you a question by a show of hands. How many of you drive a BMW? How many of you own your own business? How many of you have more than $1 million in your bank account? Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you have failed a class in college? How many of you have had their heart broken? How many of you have lost a family member to a disease or to a car accident? Notice what happened when we are sharing the failures of our lives. More hands get raised up. But when we share the successes, not everybody already made it. Here's a mistake that a lot of motivational speakers actually make. They spend more time in their speech talking about the successes and what they've done. And to an audience member, when I hear that, I'm thinking, wait a minute. Yeah, you're rich, you're famous. I'm not. I mean, I don't connect with you. But when you tell me that you already failed in college, that you lost a lot of money, you lost loved ones, I, as an audience member, thinking, huh, me too. Yeah, me too. And if that person already made it, then maybe I can make it too. When I say struggle, I mean most of your speech should be on your failures. Most of your speech should be on your failures. And only a small part at the end should be about your successes. Don't be the person who says, and now I became whatever, and now I have my own business, and now I'm the entrepreneur, and now I have. Nobody want to hear that. I want to hear how you failed. And then we move to step number 7, which I like to call the victory line. Now, why do I call it the victory line? Because it's supposed to be only one line. That's when you tell me about your success. It's not a paragraph, it's one line. If I would share my story and at the end I said, and now I became the world champion, and boom, that's it. I don't tell you how many places I've been to and I've been speaking, because nobody wants to hear you about your successes. People wants to know how you failed first. And then we move into the conclusion of your speech. Do you remember in school, math class? And at the end of the class, in order for the teacher to know that you understood what he or she explained, the teacher gives you homework. Something that you can do when you go home. Why? Because when you do it at home, the information sticks in your mind a lot more. And the same thing with speaking, ladies and gentlemen. At the end, give your audience something to do. Something to do when they leave the hall or when they leave the lecture. Some of them might do it, some of them might not do it. But give them something to do and give them something that they as individuals can do. Imagine if I'm giving a speech about world hunger. And at the end of my speech, I said, ladies and gentlemen, I think all countries should unite and all governments should unite and try to put an end to world hunger. Try to put an end to this famine that's been killing everybody. Now, you are sitting there thinking, Okay, you talk about government, but what can I do? In my speech, The Power of Words, at the end, I said, you have the power to change the world. And you're thinking, oh my God, really? I do? Yes, you do. Everybody has the power to change the world by just choosing the right words. So I give the audience something to do when they leave the hall. And now the last step in this formula is what I like to call the last word. One of the biggest mistakes that you can do as a speaker is ending your speech with, and that's it, thank you. That's not a way to end the speech. People will always remember the last thing that you said. When I get asked to give a keynote or to speak, it might take me from 3 to 4 days to write a speech. I take 2 more days just to write the last sentence in my speech. Because you want to write a sentence that will make the audience go, oh. That's what you want. That's the reaction that you want. You want the last statement of your speech to be the strongest one ever. So, hook, frame, message, personal story, the aha moment, struggle, victory line, call to action, and the last line or the last statement. Now, as I said, there are no secret recipes. You can use what I just, like everything that I just taught you now, or you can take it, scroll it up and throw it in the garbage and you still be a good speaker. What will make you a good speaker? How many of you have heard of Tony Robbins? Now, Tony Robbins is an amazing motivational speaker. Now, if you go to YouTube and you Google Tony Robbins, and you will find a lot of his speeches online. And I want you to watch one of his earliest speeches when he became, when he started to become a public speaker. And then I want you to watch one of his latest speeches. And I want to ask you, which one inspires you the most? I would guarantee that most of you would say his earliest work are more inspiring. Why? Because when he started speaking, he was homeless. He struggled with his mom. He lived under a bridge. So he was sharing his struggles and he was sharing his life story with the audience with the sincere hope that maybe his story will change someone else's life. And then he started to become famous, and now the money started to come into the picture, and now he gives lectures where people pay $10,000 just to attend one of his lectures. The guy makes from $2 to $3 million per speech. And when you make that much money, sometimes you lose the sincerity behind it. And that's why a lot of people would like his earliest work, because back then it was only about inspiring people. Don't get me wrong, he's still one of the most amazing speakers in the entire world to this day. But his latest work, you feel like he's been repeating it over and over again. Maybe he just speaks just to get paid. The heart and soul are not in it. You know, every year I travel to district conferences, to like Toastmaster district conferences. And I've been to a lot of district conferences all over the world. And when I go to district conferences, I always make sure that I attend the international speech contest. And in every international speech contest, the same thing happens over and over again. And I want you to always remember it even when you're attending your next contest, because it might happen as well. And that is this. You always have a speaker who does everything per the book. Structure, check. Voice, check. Body movement, check. He checks all the boxes. But you're listening to the person and thinking, I don't know. something is missing, something is not right. And then after that, a speaker comes in with a broken English, broken grammar, broken pronunciation. But when that person speaks, you can tell he speaks from the heart. And in every district conference I've been to, the second person always wins. You know, a lot of stuff that we learn here in Toastmasters in terms of, you know, hand gestures and body movements and voice and all those stuff that we learned, even though are useful, if the speech is not coming from here, nobody is going to listen. I'm going to give you an advice of a person who's been through the journey of this contest and made it all the way to the end and won. Someone who made it to the other side. I know a lot of people who always tell me, I want to be the next world champion of public speaking. And I always ask, okay, why? Why do you want to be the next world champion? Fame? Well, you're only known within Toastmasters. Outside of the Toastmaster circles, I'm telling you from experience, nobody knows who you are. Then what is it? Is it money? I want you to look at every world champion. Most of them are actually broke. So then why do you want to do it? You want to speak or you want to compete in the world, like in Toastmasters, because Toastmaster gives you a platform where in every level of the contest, you get to speak to more and more people. More and more people will get to hear what you say. And if you get a chance to change someone's life, then your life will have a meaning. I promise you, there is not a better feeling than someone who is coming to you years from now and say, Toastmaster Jalal or Toastmaster Aliyah or whatever, thank you. I remember I listened to something that you said years ago, and I want to tell you that I am a better person because of something that you said. You know, the money will go, the fame will go, and all of it will go. And what would remain is your influence. I remember there's an old phrase or an old, and I really love it, and I live by it, and it goes like this. People will forget who you are. People will forget what you said, but people would never forget how you made them feel. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the regrets that I have is that as a world champion, by the rule book, you're not allowed to compete anymore. I wish I can go back and redo it all over again. Why? Because every time you speak, you have a new message that the world needs to hear. I know a lot of you might look at your life and say, well, my life is worthless, or I don't have a worthy story that the world can learn from. Of course you do. Everybody is unique in their own way. And if you don't tell your story, then the wrong person will be listened to. I know in Toastmasters we're not supposed to talk about politics, but I want you to think about all the politicians, all the wrong things that they might actually do. And I want you to think deep about what makes a politician. You know, you cannot practice to become a doctor unless you have a medical degree. You cannot do, you cannot be an architect unless you have an engineering degree. But what qualification that you need to do to be a politician? There's nothing. We've seen some people who've been in politics and without any experience whatsoever. What makes a politician is a person who's ready to speak and people would listen to. So if you think you are the person who can make this world a better place, but you choose not to speak and stay silent, then the mic will move to the wrong person. I often get asked sometimes, Mr. Qahtani, I'm speaking in a contest later this evening or like tomorrow, and I want you to give me one last advice that I can do before I take the stage. And I always tell people the same advice. I always say, imagine and believe that after you speak and you step down from the stage, that you are going to die. And this is the last thing that you will ever say. And ask yourself, is it worth saying? And if it is, how would you say it? Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Qahtani, for this impressive speech that has truly taught us how to inspire people by being genuine, by being transparent, and by speaking from the heart. I think that is the key. And we all have a story to tell. And like Mr. Qahtani said, our story is very unique in every way, shape, and form. Nobody else can tell our story. So we might as well take advantage of the opportunity when we're given the chance to speak our story and to make a difference using our own firsthand experiences. So remember that. Absolutely wonderful and inspiring. Thank you for sharing this wonderful testimony. And I just wanted to know.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
No. Yes, please.
So I just wanted to resort to our timer. I wanted to know, I know that's a 30-minute segment, and I wanted to know how much time, Ashraf, we have left as far as Q&A.
We have, for the end of the meeting, 25 minutes. So maybe 7 minutes Q&A?
Okay, perfect. So can we take 7 minutes of your time, Mr. Qahtani, for a Q&A session?
Sure, yes, please.
Okay, so let me start with Galal. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Qahtani. Incredible. I just wanted to comment when you mentioned something about politicians. So the thing is, they say, when can you tell if a politician is lying? And the answer is, the moment he opens his mouth. I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gilgil. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Mr. Qahtani? If you do, kindly unmute yourself and go for it.
I don't have a question, but I have something that I really want to tell Mr. Qahtani.
My name is Alvita.
Go ahead.
Your speech in 2015 really changed my life. I was going through a really hard phase, and your speech really impacted me and changed my life in a very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This actually means a lot to me, more than all the trophies and all the fame. That's what I actually want.
I was having really big troubles, and your speech really helped me to solve them. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rita. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Qahtani, I'm
yes,
a very
Maya.
big fan. I'm a very, very big fan of you. But
thank you so much,
how
Maya.
did you make it to championship? How did you make it?
Honestly, when I started competing, I started the competition back in 2010. And to be honest, every time I competed, I only wanted to, to win, and I only wanted to get the trophy. And sometimes I might, in my mind, I think this is the best speech I have ever given. But then the judges chooses someone else. It's only when I started to compete, believing that I'm not going to win, and only focusing on the speech itself. Don't write a speech that pleases the judges, but write a speech that you want to change the world with. If you win with it, fine. If you don't, who cares? At least you got people to listen to you. And when you start focusing on the speech itself and not on the trophy and like winning, that inshallah will take you to the next level, inshallah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
May I have a last say to Muhammad, please?
Thank you so much.
Okay, Ahmed, please. Yes, good.
Yes,
Sorry, let's just take one person at a time. Can Hassan ask his question first, and then we'll move on? to Mr. Ahmed. And then kindly, if you guys want to ask questions, just raise your hands and I will give you your turn so we don't all talk at the same time. Hassan, the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Qahtani, for that inspirational speech.
Thank you.
And I really like that you choose substance over style of delivery. That's really unique because sometimes in Toastmasters, some people tend to choose delivery over substance. And that's something that needs to improve inside Toastmasters community. I have a question for you.
Yes.
In a usual speech, how do you prepare for your speeches?
Okay, well, my style of preparation is this. First, write the speech. And I want you to please, remember this. Write your speech, but do not memorize your speech. Do not memorize your speech. This is a big mistake that some speakers do. Because if you just memorize the speech word by word, and you miss one word, you're going to miss the rest of the speech. However, you still have to write it. And I would recommend that you write it with a pen, not with a computer. Because when you write it with a pen, the information will stick into your mind. Then after I write it, I read it 10 times, and then I put the paper aside, and I stand in front of a mirror, and I start speaking, and I'm looking at your face. I'm looking at my face. Because you get to see what the audience see. Maybe you have a weird eye contact, or maybe a weird smile. Then maybe you fix it by watching yourself. And then I invite a friend of mine, and I always choose someone who is not a Toastmaster. Why? Because as Toastmasters, we evaluate to motivate. No, I choose someone who is not a Toastmaster. And I sit across the table from them in a coffee shop or whatever, and I recite the speech to them as a conversation. And I ask that person 3 questions. Is it clear? Is it interesting? And did it motivate you to do something with your life? Because that's what you want out of your speech. You want it to be clear, meaning you choose a language that the audience understands. You want it to be interesting, it has humor, it has stories, and I'm hooking you throughout. And at the end, there should be something that the audience should get out of it. And if the answer is no, I go back and I do some changes and I repeat the cycle.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Qahtani. I will now move on to Mr. Ahmed Saeed.
Yes, Ahmed.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. First of all, I'd like to thank Toastmaster Club for this great invitation to Muhammad, and I'd like to be proud that Muhammad is a close friend to me. I'm Egyptian here living in Saudi Arabia.
Of course.
And
I've known you a few years, even before I even won.
So I like to tell something about Muhammad. Muhammad is not only a champion, he's a supporter, he is a very kind person, he supports us here very much, and he gives us clear advice every time we compete, we participate in any competition, as if he is the one who will win. So I'd like to thank Muhammad for this, and for me personally, for supporting me, for being my friend. And my question to you,
yes,
as you know, for the Cairo Toastmasters and the Alexandria Toastmasters Club, I gave a presentation before in the Alexandria Toastmasters Club, but they are not lucky enough to participate in competitions and to move forward to higher stages. So how can they keep motivated, despite the fact that they are not lucky to participate in international competition and to move from a club to an area to division and even to a district or something like this? How can they keep motivated?
I would recommend something that now I'm not really sure about the hierarchy of Toastmaster or how it actually works, but I'm 100% sure that if there's enough clubs in Egypt, for example, I think if you have 4 or 5 clubs, you can have your own area in Egypt, and then your area can choose to join one of the districts, either district 20 or district 104 or whatever. So it becomes one of the areas, and that way you become under a district and you can actually do the contest, and hopefully you can actually advance forward. But as I said, you shouldn't compete to win, because if you win, as I said earlier, it's not really as that glamorous. It's not going to give you fame and money. You should compete because you want to be heard and you want to change this world to be a better place. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your question, Mr. Ahmed. Raise your hands, please, if you have any further questions for Mr. Qahtani. Rania, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Dina. Thank you so much, Mr. Muhammad, for this inspirational, great, brilliant speech. I would like to ask you one question. I noticed that all the time you use your sense of humor, great sense of humor. And as we like human beings, we like so much to laugh. And when we laugh at something or someone or at the speech, it just makes us feel so great and we just admire this person so much. My question is, in your preparation for your speech, how much of your speech you just put or focus on engaging audience with humor? Or you just make it like natural thing in the middle of your speech, you just making jokes or express it with your facial expressions and that's it. How you just
right.
do this?
A disclaimer at the beginning, I'm not a funny person. And those people who know me personally, they can tell you I am boring as a cucumber. However, I find it easier for me to do humor because when I was in college 20 years ago, and yes, I am that old, but when I was in college 20 years ago, I used to do stand-up comedy. So humor is, for me, is kind of easy. However, when it comes to speaking, everybody has strengths and weaknesses. My weakness is writing. I'm not a good writer. I don't know how to put words together. So as a speaker, you capitalized on your strengths. All of you, and some of you, your strength might be your writing, your choice of words, and some of you might be your voice, like I'm like Mr. Jalal, and some of you might be your stage movements. Some of you might be your smile. Find out what is your strength when it comes to speaking, and also find out what is your weakness. Now, you're asking me how much of the humor that I put in my speech. Because I find it easier for me to do humor, maybe sometimes I put a lot of humor in my speech, and I've done at times when I put too much to the point that the audience did not actually enjoy it. And I'm trying to cut back on that. But I'm using humor because humor is kind of my strength. When it comes to my weaknesses, I consult my coaches and I consult my mentors. And I do have a lot of coaches and mentors where if I'm writing a speech, I go to them and say, can you please help me fix this? I don't know how to write. Please help me. So they help me with the words, and I can focus on the humor because that's actually my strength. I hope that that answers your question, Ronnie. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Does anybody have any more questions? Because we have to move on.
Yes.
Ala?
Yes, just one quick question. Hello, Mohammed, how are you?
Oh my God, Ola's here. Okay, go ahead.
First of all, thank you. Every time I listen to you, I learn something new from you. So yeah, you did a great job every single time. So Mohammed, as you said, you have a lot of coaches. Now I got through the experience to share my speech to many people, and every single person will give me a different point of view. Well, I reach a point that I have like 3-4 versions of my speech, and I don't know which the best part that I really need to take, which part I really need to take off.
Yeah.
So can you advise regarding this part?
Yeah, I've been through the same issue. When I was preparing for the World Championship, I had a lot of evaluators and I'm speaking to a lot of people. And yes, I know, Ula, that everybody will give you an evaluation. Now, when people give you an evaluation, it's basically them trying to tell you, if I were you, I would have given you a speech that way. So if I'm evaluating you, ya Ula, I'm like evaluating you based on what I think I would do if I would have been giving you a speech. And that's why everybody will give you a different evaluation. And yes, you cannot please everybody. And some of the evaluation, I know, sometimes does not make sense. What I would recommend for you is, I do this a lot of time too, where I ask all the club members, I know that you have one evaluator who's going to evaluate you at the end of the meeting, but you can also give pieces of paper to every member in the club and ask them all, not to write a whole evaluation, just to answer 2 questions. Which part of the speech that you liked the most, and which part that you hated the most? And then after the meeting, you collect these pieces of paper. And if you notice that the majority agreed on one part is good, then keep it the way it is. Don't change it. Even if I came to you and said, yeah, I don't like it, you can say, yeah, I don't care what you think, because a lot of people think this part is good. And if the majority agree that one part is not, then maybe this is the part that you should be working on. So at least you're listening to a huge spectrum of audience rather than just listening to everybody and trying to please everybody, because you would you would never win. I mean, like that way, you will just, I mean, like you will make a lot of changes in your speech to the point that you feel like this is not your speech anymore.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Qahtani. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. Everybody, please give him a big round of applause. Thank you so very much for so altruistically sharing some valuable life-altering tips on speech delivery. We really appreciate your time and
Thank
your
you so much
contribution.
for having me. And I'm sorry I need to leave the meeting because it's kind of late here and I have another meeting actually starting in a bit. But it's been a pleasure and an honor to be with you guys. And I really wish you the best of luck. And I really hope that I get to meet you all in person. So let's hope after all this pandemic is over, I can come and visit you in Egypt again. And hopefully we'll do this meeting in person, inshallah.
Yes, that would be an honor. Thank you so very much for your time. We'll see you soon and have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, thanks so much for your questions. And for the sake of time, I'm going to have to hand the mic over to our Toastmaster of the day so we can delve into the evaluation section. Ahmed, the mic is yours.
Miss President, can we have a group photo? Oh, okay, he left. Okay, thank you.
Oh, did he leave already? Oops.
I was trying to tell you.
Wait, Mr. Qahtani, are you still there by any chance? Are you there?
It's okay.
No, you already left? Okay, yeah. You should have unmuted yourself and told me. Sorry about that.
He was trying to. He was trying.
He was trying?
Yeah.
I did not notice that. Sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so anyway, we're going to have to move on to the evaluation section now. Ahmed, the mic is yours.
You can take a photo from the live, by the way. You can take a screenshot.
Yes.
Let's do that. Let's go on to the YouTube version and just take a screenshot. Let's do that. It's our best bet.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you all. I didn't want to move on from this segment. I learned a lot and I really got inspired. But moving on to the last part of our meeting. The last part of our meeting is an important segment of a Toastmasters meeting. In this segment, constructive feedback is given to each speaker as well as to the overall meeting, so that we all can benefit from our experience and become better speakers. For this, we have our general evaluator, Toastmaster Rania Leila. When she was asked about compassion, she was too busy to answer, but I will have compassion for her and won't do anything about it. Now, I would like to hand over the session to the general evaluator, Toastmaster Rania. The mic is yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Ahmed, for your kind heart and your mercy on me. Thank you so much. And now I will quote the way he stated, Mr. Muhammad Qahtani, when he said that Toastmaster members don't say that. By show of hands, who likes the meeting so far? Who likes? Yes. Thank you so much. Fellow Toastmaster, dear guests, this is Rania Leila. I'm going to conduct this segment, the evaluation segment. And because we are running out of time, I should now call my team to give their reports. Mr. or Toastmaster Ashraf Yusuf, who is very enthusiastic today. Please, Mr. Timer, could you please give your report? Help me welcome the timer. The timer is disappears or what? Are you there? Are you there?
I'm here.
Please give your report.
Okay, so first we have Rada Al-Sharawi. Her speech was 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Galal Zaki, 6 minutes and 13 seconds. For the Table topic segment, Hassan Dia, 1 minute and 55 seconds. Rita Adil, 1 minute. Mayar, 0.36 seconds. Hawar, 1:18 seconds. Mahitab, 0.43 seconds. Back to you, Guillaume.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, help me welcome the grammarian, Toastmaster Rada, to give her report.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, and welcome again, everybody. Now I'm going to be giving you my grammarian report, starting with giving a huge round of applause to all those who used the word of the day. I'm gonna say their name, and then you can go ahead and give them a hand. Ahmed Ala, Shobait, Galad Zaki, Mahitab, Mayar, Dina, even though Mahitab, I believe, used it in a very stealthy way when she said, I learned today a very new word, which is altruistic. Well, that was kind of stealthy there, Mahitab, but you get a point for that. So good job, everybody. And then we move on to your language usages. I'm gonna start with the things that need modification because they were so little. So little, I made a grammatical mistake. That shouldn't be the case. I should have said, I think there were few. And starting with didn't, after didn't, we have the verb in the infinitive. So we don't say didn't met, we say didn't meet. After, the word after, it takes the verb plus ing. So we don't say after finish, we say after finishing. I was indifferent, not indifference, because indifferent is the adjective. So if I want to describe myself, I say I'm indifferent. And then when I say before I forget, not before I forgot. Yes, because that's the present. Moving on to the good language usages, I heard a lot of beautiful sentences today and inspirational as well. The first was blue ideas flew in the sky, in the blue sky. I believe that Hassan said this one. And then Mr. Galal Zaki used also beautiful sentence. Mr. You are always just so amazing in your language usage. We all learn from you. And you said at the end, you just ended in a very, calm tone and said, Fadia, I am because of you. I am who I am because of you. That was beautiful. And then Hassan again said, what a word, when he didn't know how to start his speech. But that exclamation point, that was so powerful. You see how we can use exclamation when we want to emphasize on the beauty of something. Rita said something beautiful when she said, empathy is what makes us different. It is what makes us humans. Alia said a very weird sentence, but just made us all laugh. So I'm just going to say it anyways. She said, you were left, right? So that was really weird. And then moving on to Shubait, who said, would you do the same for yourself? We have to treat ourselves like how we treat others. That is very profound, Mr. Shubait. You always come up with the most philosophical, sentences. And then we have Hur. I can just write your entire speech, girl. So you said a cry for help. You can't see the positives unless you see negatives. Put love on the table and pass it on like you pass salt. Powerful. And then we have Mr. Qahtani. I can't believe I quoted him. He said, if you get a chance to change someone's life, then your life has a meaning. Am I being timed or are you asked? Yeah, okay. People will forget who you are. People will forget what you said, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That's definitely not something that he said, but it's a great quote that he quoted as well. Thank you all for listening. And back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you so much, Wala. Brilliant as usual. You're just excel saying everything, every little line in your report. Thank you so much. And now moving on very fast to the counter. Toastmaster Nurhan Azmi, the mic is yours. Nurhan, are you there? Nurhan?
Hello? Okay, Ryan.
Okay.
I'm with you. I will share it with you now.
Go ahead, Nurhan, we hear you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, Nurhan, just share your reports, as you say.
Okay.
We are waiting for you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. As a first, I would like to thank you all for your great speeches and this fruitful meeting. Let's see the notes. Galal Zaki scored 1 II. As for the table topics, Hassan scored 1 A. Rita 0. Congratulations, Rita. Shobit has only a long pause. Maruch repeated time is. Meyer scored 2 As. Hur 0 As. Mahitab 0 As. As for the evaluators, Hassan scored 1 A. Amal 0 As. Congratulations, Amal. Thanks all. This is a summary of my report, and I would like to remind you and remind myself that in order to improve or reduce the filler words, we can have hello, can you hear me?
Can hear you. Yes, we can. Yes, Nurhan, please go on.
Okay.
We can hear you.
You have to take a short pause or take a deep breath or move smoothly to the next point. Thanks all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nurhan, for this incredible report. Thank you so much. And now, before forgetting it, yes, going back to the evaluation part, evaluation for prepared speeches. And thank you so much, Amal, for reminding me of this part. And now, I would like to call the first evaluator, Hassan, to give his report, his evaluation about the first speaker, Rada Sharawi. Please help me welcome the first evaluator, Hassan Diop.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Great job, Rada. I really like your speech. And from the first point, from the first moment, you were dressing in blue, and that was a very good idea because it connected to the title of your speech. And I also like that you use your story. That's very powerful because people are connected with stories. So telling your story connected with the audience. And I also liked the sound effects that you used. For example, you said that law of attraction came and knocked on my door. Tuck, tuck, tuck. That was really amazing. And I also like that you ended your speech with a message. You said that you should speak to inspire. That was really powerful. There are some points that can be improved. For example, when you talked about the mentor abbreviation, I really couldn't follow that point, and I couldn't see how it followed in the sequence of your speech. So maybe you could have emphasized more on that point or elaborated more. And also you could have played a little bit more with the volume of your voice. So maybe if you want to transition to another point, you could have raised your voice. And when you want to emphasize a point, you can lower your voice a little bit. But all in all, it was a very great speech, Rada. And I'm sure your story inspired a lot of people here to join Toastmasters. So thank you, Rada. And back to you, Toastmaster Ronnie.
Thank you, Hassan. I'm a general evaluator. Thank you so much for the report. And now moving on to Toastmaster Amal Kamel, the evaluator for the prepared speeches of Galal Zaki. Help me welcome Amal Kamel. The mic is yours.
Thank you, Rania. but I thought I've given my evaluation with 0 R's. Haven't I? I excel, man, wow. I will be your backseat driver here. Mr. Galal Zaki gave his first speech in Toastmasters, his icebreaker. Congratulations, Mr. Galal. You have just given your first speech, and I will be just like this annoying backseat driver who says, go to the left, use the brakes, you're going too fast, you're going too slow. That's going to be me, that annoying passenger who thinks he's driving. So, being in charge here, I will start. Mr. Galal, you have done everything right. I am very humbled to actually be the evaluator today. You were able to hook your audience from the start to the very end. You started with a quote and a question, your tone of voice, your, I don't know, I can't even call it speaking skills, it's more like acting skills. You should have been an actor. I mean, changing your voice as you're changing your characters. Wow, man, I love that. And I think everybody did. Your sense of humor, I haven't seen anything like it. You've even tied your speech with the theme of the day, compassion, and how that coach had no compassion whatsoever. So perfect. You were able to use your stage very well, although at first you were saying that it was very difficult to use the camera or of the laptop or the mobile phone, but you actually used it perfectly. Everybody enjoyed the speech. I enjoyed the speech. Something that I would do differently now, I'll be the backseat driver, the annoying backseat driver. I know you have a beautiful story. It's a long story. Failure is the road to success. But I felt it was like too much to squeeze in a 4 to 6 minute speech. It felt like it was going too fast. I mean, that is enough to be 4 or even 5 speeches. It could be like a speech for your career. You failed your education and then boom, a master's degree. Or you were just this simple soldier and then boom, Tariq Noor was headhunting for you, wanting you to be part of his agency. All the boys were after Fadia, but boom, you won her heart and she became your wife. She chose you over all of them. The sports, so each one of that is enough for a new, for a different speech. So that could make 4 or 5 speeches here. And finally, you were able to grab all the audience attention and everybody enjoyed it. And I'm sure that everyone didn't want your speech to end. So thank you very much and congratulations. And you did an amazing, amazing, amazing job. I enjoyed it personally. Thank you, Mr. Galal, so much. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Amal, for this great report. And now, moving on very fast because we are running out of time, I will give the whole report or my complete report concerning
evaluators.
Okay, so Zoom Master, please, could you read this again? How much time?
Voting.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, please now. The poll will show up on the screen and please vote for the best evaluation. Okay, Zoom Master. How much time we have?
We're done. We're 80% of the poll, so that ends our poll. The one before the last poll. There's one poll remaining. Please stay tuned at the end of the meeting, please.
Okay, how much time do I have to give my evaluation report?
Minus 3 minutes.
No, 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 no. Are you kidding me? Okay, I'm trying to make it so fast. Please just bear with me. I'm audible now?
Yes.
I'm audible? Okay. I will make it so fast. I'll try hard. What an amazing, incredible meeting. Please, I won't say that give yourself a pat on the back. I will give you just a kiss on the cheek and the other one, because you just did a great, great, great job today in the meeting. I will start with the Sergeant at Arms, that I liked so much how you expressed the rules of the meeting when you said it's not ground rules, it's house rules, and give an intro about the Toastmasters Club. That was really great thing. Gina, President, I like your introduction. It was short and precise when you're stating the intro about the Toastmaster clubs, Cairo Toastmaster Club as well. And you hand it over smoothly and effectively to the Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster of the day, Ahmed Ala, what a splendid performance. You weren't you, by the way. I could sense this sense of energy, and when you're setting the agenda, that was really a great thing. One quick tip when you say, yes, just a second. Yes, one quick tip concerning the transition. I recommend that you work more and more on your transitions between the segments. You just make it more smoothly. Thank you so much. You did a really great job. The timer, our enthusiastic timer, he never sleeps in a meeting. And in a meeting, yeah, you just explain the rules, and the Sergeant of Arms just helped you a lot in this meeting, by the way. And thank you for him. A quick tip, just look at the camera when you're talking us, just keep the eye contact. A counter, plus just give a great hand, like big hand for Nurhan Azmi. It's her first time to participate in a meeting, and she is our newest member in Cairo Toastmasters Club, and she gave her report in a very amazing way. She really did a great job. Thank you so much, Nurhan, for your effort. And Grammarian, I liked so much, Wala. I'm a big fan, that you stated the rules and the word of the day. I just have one comment. When you say the Arabic meaning of the word, of course, we should consider the other nationals or the other guests from all around the world. And more than that, myself, I didn't get it, the Arabic meaning. So I will take the English one because I didn't know what the meaning of ithar, by the way. But it's okay. Thank you so much for your efforts. And okay, concerning the prepared speeches, I just want to say very, very fast notes. Rada, I like it so much, your speech. You were a rock star this time. Your presentation, the setting of the meeting, your eye contact, the body language, your facial exhibitions were really terrific. I just have one small tip, very fast, to work more on eye contact, to look at me in the lens of the camera so I can feel that you are talking to me. Okay, thank you so much, Gilgil. I'm in love, madly love with your speeches, presentations, and your wife as well, who just encouraged you to be this brilliant with us. It was an amazing thing. Table topic, Halia, splendid performance. I like it so much at the segment, and I was so intrigued in that test because everybody loves it, the personality test, and you just excel this thing. I just have small recommendation that when you ask us some questions or the words as a theme of our talking, I couldn't feel that it's very connected to the video we watched. I know that you at the end asked us what was your result. It was left or the right. I like it so much, but I didn't feel that it's so much connected. But I just recommend maybe, or if I were you, just personally, when I just watch the video, maybe I'll make all the questions or all the themes inside the video, so it will be more connected than that. But thank you so much. It was very, very brilliant performance as usual. You are the most cutest girl I ever met. And okay, moving on to, I'll make it fast wallahi. Yes, the speakers of the table topics. Hassan, I like it when Hassan Dia, you were the first speaker. I like it so much when you asked it, would it be boring? Would it be interesting? I like it, these two questions. It was like the opposite, and you said it very well. And quick tip, just use you used so much of pauses inside your speech. So I recommend next time, just maybe think a little bit, maybe just take one long pause and think about what are you gonna say next. It will be more fluent for you. Thank you so much. Rita, I liked your speech. I just have quick, you kept saying empathy is what makes us human beings, right? It was very brilliant line. It was authentic, very authentic, pertinent, and to the point line, but you repeated more than 4 times, I guess, or 5 times. So just quick tip, pay attention for the repetition. Shohet or Shohet. Okay, I guess he left, I bet, yes. I liked his speech so much. I feel empathy with him. Quick tip, he should maintain eye contact a little bit. Hor, I loved your facial expressions so much. You are brilliant. Every single thing, you just express it so much with your facial expression. And when you said this, I like this gesture so much. I just have a quick tip to work more on the eye contact and the hand movement, because most of the time you're just making like this, except in this gesture, but you just make it like this. But I like so much your smile. You're beautiful, so beautiful, mashallah. Mahitab, I sensed the energy and enthusiasm in your speech. You were very excited about joining us today for the first time in table topic. And that was great. Quick tip, just maintain the eye contact. Look at the lens of the camera when you are talking so that we can feel that you are talking to us. Other than that, you're just doing a great job. Okay, now going to, I'm running out of time or what? The evaluation part, I should talk about them.
Time is meaningless.
Okay, Grammarian, well, you excelled as usual. I like your tone of voice and your facial expression. You're encouraging people to use, when you just clapped and encouraging people to using the word of the day. That was really great thing. Thank you so much. For a counter, that was awesome report. For the first time, first participation in the real meeting as a member, you're just doing great job. Thank you so much. Of course, we will do more efforts to work more on our body language, our fluency, and all these things. But for the first time, you just did very great job. Thank you so much. Our timers, thank you for your enthusiasm for the last time today. Thank you. And now I'm going to the evaluation part. I'm going to evaluate. Bear with me, just two more minutes. Hassan, what is Hassan? I'm lost in you, Hassan. Yes, it was a very good report, well structured. You stated the analytical observations of the speech, and that was very well. Your sound effects, and when you talked about her sound effects and her story of life and how much it was an inspirational one, you ended up with the line she just mentioned, and your tone of voice was great. Recommendation, just maybe the volume, you just try to raise it just a little bit much, and that's all. And you missed the summarization. You didn't sum it up at the last, because you know the evaluation just divided to 4 parts, okay? Analytical and recommendation, the techniques, and after this is summarization. You just need to sum it up at the end. That's all. For Amal, it was marvelous report as well as usual. Amal, you started to praise the speaker and you used this sounds effects, so that was really great. You stated the technical observations really well. You said the hook and tone of voice, and he's more like acting, not performance. And you just your recommendations were very beneficial. And you sum it up at the end. That was really great. I really didn't have like quick tips for you, but I will think of some and I will send you after this. But now, just you did a great job. And I make it so fast, I bet. Thank you so much for this incredible meeting. And see you next time, inshallah. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you. At this time to announce the winner. Go ahead, Megan.
Before we announce the winner, sorry, Mr. Timer, we have a final poll that we need to launch. It won't take more than, we're only 26 members right now. So please answer this poll that you see on your screens. Okay. 10 seconds more. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for your feedback. And I'm glad to say that according to what you were saying, we were outstanding today. So I guess that's a very good result. And now
we raised the bar up.
We always raise the bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's time for the announcement of awards. So please, our great timer and our dear guest, would you please use your instruments to announce the winners? So the best evaluate. Okay, before we announce the winner, let me share the screen first. Let me share the screen. Share the screen. Share the screen. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay, perfect. So this is just a reminder of our great guest speaker, Mr. Muhammad Qahtani, quoting Maya Angelou for her quote about we learned that people will forget what you said, what you did, but they will never forget what you made them feel. Now let's welcome the great or the winner of our speaker award, and the winner is Mr. Gilal Zakai. Congratulations, Galal. This will be your number what award, please? Gilgal. Award collector.
Sorry?
Your award collector. This is your number which award?
Oh, you're counting the table topics. Yeah, maybe 20, 21.
Oh, that's a great one. And now to the best table topic award goes to our dearest guest, Hur Karusa. Congratulations, Hur. And our best evaluation goes to Amal Kamel, as amazing as always. Congratulations, everyone. Now back to you again, our Toastmaster of the day. And let me stop sharing the screen. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all for sticking around and for this wonderful meeting. I think we have no time to conclude our theme, so I will leave it with your thoughts. Because of you, Rania, you took over 10 minutes. Okay, so I will leave it with your thoughts about compassion. I think it's a very important trait, and its biggest enemy is fear and speeding up and living in your own world. With that said, I would like to invite Dina Toastmaster Dina Abu Saif to the floor to conclude the meeting. The floor is yours, Dina, or the mic is yours. And have a good night.
Thank you so much, Ahmed, for a wonderful session today. And the theme was absolutely uplifting. Thank you so much for managing everything extremely seamlessly. Thanks to all our guests today, the first-time guests, returning guests, to all our role players. Congratulations to those who won today, but really congratulations to everybody who partook in today's session. You contributed very beautifully to tonight's meeting. Now, there is something that I want to say before we adjourn. First of all, if the folks who are here in Egypt, if you guys are considering membership, Rania, please raise your hand. Rania, who was our general evaluator today, please raise your hand. She is our Vice President of Membership. If you could just either contact her now privately via the chat box, or Rania, if you would like to write your email address in the chat box so people could kind of contact you directly even after the meeting, that would be awesome as well. Otherwise, I know that some people requested this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just giving you guys the opportunity, if you're able to stick around for another 5 or 10 minutes, if you guys want to go ahead and kind of get into different breakout rooms so you could network with whoever is left, let me know. Zoom Master, could we have a couple of breakout rooms for 10 minutes? Or 5 minutes? I know we're already running behind schedule, but we have some people who do want to network. So could you just kind of, if you guys don't want to be in breakout rooms, you can go ahead and leave right now. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you do want to stick around for 5 minutes to socialize with everybody here, just be with us, and our Zoom Master will kind of put everybody in a couple of breakout rooms so we can kind of socialize before we finally adjourn.
Can we our president, can we leave it like that? Like, those who are interested to stay around and mingle, that's okay, and those who want to mingle, those who want to leave, they can just leave the conversation.
Okay, all right. So
I
okay,
think
so
that's too much. I think it's.
I'm sorry.
I think it would be better if we break it to breakout rooms, because the number is so big. I think we are more than 20 people, right?
All right, if anyone wants to leave, now is the time. We're gonna go into breakout right now. Okay? We will start.
And we can stop streaming.
Oh yeah.